Welcome to Remove Before Flight, where we help prepare veterans to start, grow, or scale a business. Welcome back to another episode of Remove Before Flight. This week we're going to continue our series on search engine optimization, aka SEO, with part 2 of site layout, design, and structure. And we'll review the digital marketing and social media appointment setting system for anyone looking for a steady stream of leads, appointments, and new clients. We would like to thank celebrity life coach Dr. Steve G. Jones for sponsoring our show this week. What a week it has been for me. The beginning of the week is still in a fog, but Wednesday morning I woke up to a call from Eddie saying that changeyourpov.com was down. Shortly thereafter, I had the problem resolved and the site back working. Damn WordPress auto updates. But seriously, this led to a conversation between Eddie and myself for a great upcoming show about conducting an audit on your website. I will be teaching you how to audit your website from a technical approach, an SEO approach, and a content approach. Watch for this episode in the upcoming weeks. Thursday, I had the pleasure of spending some quality time with my daughter, Paige, which at 16 doesn't happen as much as it used to. So from one father to another, I will tell you, cherish every moment you get with your children. They truly do grow up fast. Friday night, Kathy and I took Caden, our son, to the local dirt track to watch the races and then the demolition derby afterwards. It was a fun night. The little guy had all he could do to keep an eye open at the end of the evening. I am here recording this episode on Saturday this week, but scheduling it for release on Sunday as normal. This is because tonight kicks off the 2017 IVMF Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans with Disabilities at Syracuse University, in which I will be attending as an alumni to welcome this year's class. Several nights this week, I will have the opportunity to work with these students and mentor them. Be sure to catch my recap on next week's episode. If you want to learn more about the IVMF and EBV, listen to episode 5, where we had the pleasure of sitting down with Anthony Armelino by visiting changeyourpov.com/RBF009. Do you ever feel like you could have taken a better path in life? Does the thought that your natural talents and abilities are not being utilized as best as they could be, or perhaps even wasted, ever cross your mind? Dr. Steve G. Jones is a clinical hypnotherapist and master life coach who has spent the past 25 years helping people achieve positive, lasting change. He is offering to our listeners an 89% discount on his Fast Track Life Coaching Certification Program. If you want a 6 or 7-figure coaching business, Steve is the man. Head over to changeyourpov.com/lifecoach today and learn how to build a brand new business which enables you to create your own schedule, have more freedom, and most importantly, help others achieve their dreams. So why is it each week it seems like I'm doing all the talking? It would be great to hear from you. No, I don't mean dial in and do a live show, although that is a thought. Let's hear from you. Let's hear your comments, your thoughts. How do you do this? It's easy. Simply visit the show notes page at changeyourpov.com/RBF009. While you're there, you'll also find links to any of the products or services discussed in this episode, as well as other helpful discounts to help make your business a success. Did you catch this week's Motivational Monday? Eddie shared a great quote from Winston Churchill. Head over to changeyourpov.com/episode 197 and grab a listen after you finish this week's episode of Remove Before Flight. Speaking of which, let's get to the guts of the show. I want to chat with you for a few moments about a simple system you can follow to get you customers. This system is known as the Digital Marketing and Social Media Appointment Setting System for anyone looking for a steady stream of leads, appointments, and new clients. This system was developed by Josh Turner. Josh has written it all down for you in a great book named after the system called Booked. You can get a copy by visiting changeyourpov.com/booked. I bought my first copy as an ebook a while back, and since it was a quick read, I went through it a couple different times. Shortly after that, I purchased the physical book. After getting the book, I read it again and then put it on my shelf. I had almost forgotten about it until I was pulling out another book for a friend on marketing a local business. Book comes down to a simple framework. Position yourself in front of your prospect, convert a percentage of those prospects into leads and appointments, and finally, turn at least one of these leads into a client. Sounds simple, right? Wrong! You would not believe how many business owners struggle with this. The most important thing for any business is marketing and sales. Get it wrong, and it's doomsday for your business. No, this is not some get-rich-quick scheme or some fast way to millionaire's row. To grow your business, it takes work. Period. Most people are not willing to put in the work needed to be successful. I know when I look at some of my past failures, I often question myself, did I put in enough effort? Josh's book is a great read for everyone. The process he walks you through gets you in the right mindset and shows you how to make the best return on your investment. It is a 5-step process that helps you quickly position yourself as an expert in your industry, directly connects you with an unlimited supply of prospects, and works them through a process that will generate a predictable number of leads and appointments. When you have a predictable number of appointments, you will have a predictable stream of new clients. No matter where your clients can be found, this process will work for you. So go get your copy of this book today by visiting changeyourpov.com/booked. To continue our series on SEO, this week we feature part 2 of our site layout, design, and structure section. If you missed part 1, you can find it in episode 6 of Remove Before Flight by visiting changeyourpov.com/RBF009. So we spent a great deal of time discussing the basics of SEO in this series. And I want to make sure you realize that you don't want to forget these basics. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I've even made these mistakes myself a time or two. But there are a few things that are absolute must when launching a new website or a new SEO campaign. One of the first things you want to make sure that you've done is install a file that's called robots.txt or TXT. This file, if you're not familiar with it, is a way for the search engines to be able to know what they can see and what they can't see of your website. This basically, allows you to give the instructions to them that says, I don't want you to see my admin folder, but I want you to see my images, or I want you to see this page, or different things. If you're unfamiliar with the format of this file, there's plenty of free robot.txt generators out there. Just simply go to Google, do a quick search, or visit our show notes page, and I will put a link to a good generator on there. The next file that you should be considering to have on there and have uploaded is a file called htaccess. This file creates permissions with the proper access for certain files on your server. Just like the robots.txt file, if you're unfamiliar with how to create one, there's plenty of free resources online that'll quickly put one together for you. I will try to dig one up and post it to the show notes page for you as well. Lastly, I want to suggest that you make sure you have a good XML sitemap. So what the sitemap does is it gives an index, all the pages you have on your website, when they were last updated, and what the priority is that the search engine should consider them for re-indexing. Now you're probably like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Don't worry. Most of this information is out there and readily available throughout the internet to be able to do research and make sure that you have the proper format on them. If you're using a content management system like WordPress to manage your website, you got it even easier. There's some really great plugins out there that will create these files for you and keep them updated. One that I like to use is called Yoast SEO. And it is a plugin that will not only evaluate your content as you're posting it and let you know, based on the keywords you enter, how is it done, several factors from an SEO side looking into it, and as well as maintaining that readability. Because if you make it just so that your web page is properly formatted for the search engine, it's going to be a dull read. Nobody's going to want to read it. But if you make it so it's 100% readable to the people, it might not always have the best SEO value to it. So as we move forward, we'll learn why these files are important and where they come into play when we're working with things like Google's Webmaster Tools. So there's other things that we want to pay attention to when we're working with our site layout and design. And those are things like tags that go within the code. So we're going to break down a few of them, and we're going to talk about title tags, header tags, all image tags, and some meta tags. So if you don't already have a pen and paper handy, I highly suggest you get one. Worst case scenario, listen to this another 10, 25, 30, even 50 times until you get all the knowledge. Title tags are considered one of the most important factors on a website. This is because it's often used in many places. For a lot of people, they use their first headline that appears on the page as the same as the title tag that they give it. Now, your title, that's what you see generally at the top of your browser when somebody's viewing a page, but it's also what you see in the search engine's results as that first highlighted item. It'll give you the title tag and then what we're going to talk about later as the meta description underneath it. So your title tag does have some limitations. The length should be kept in generally about 50 to 60 characters long, and that includes spaces, and it should contain your main keywords that you're trying to rank for. It needs to be made relevant to the content within your website, but at the same time enticing to get the searcher to want to click on it. One of the most important things you want to do with your website is make sure you have no pages with duplicate title tags. So you can't have the same title tag across your entire site. And I've seen so many websites make that mistake. You're basically telling the search engines and the people who are browsing your website in the search engine results pages that every page is the same. And it's not. Your content's different. Your title should be different. So, you'll see people sometimes break these out with like a pipe or a dash. If say I wanted to do a pizza shop here in Syracuse, New York, I could do, Pizza World, pipe, order online till 6 a.m. Delivery, takeout, something about what you offer, what you do. Put it into the title tag. So it's a very critical item and one of the key areas that you also want to optimize because it does return to the search engine's results. So therefore it's a ranking factor for you. It comes up how well do you show up for the term that people are searching for. So what are some good examples and bad examples? Search Engine Watch did a great study on this a while back, and I'm just going to use their examples rather than recreate the wheel. So they did a search for best burgers in London. So an Esquire came back with a very good example of how to use a title tag. They had all three keywords right at the beginning of the title tag, and then they followed this up with a seductively appealing headline. So let me read you what their title tag is. Best burgers in London, 9 delicious buns you don't want to miss. Notice how they cleverly used buns in order to avoid the repetition and keeping the character limit to around 60. While that was a great example, using the same search query, best burgers in London, we get our bad example. Now this one was buried all the way down on page 4 in the Google search engine results, which is not where you want to be. A common joke that is done in the industry is where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 3 of Google, of course. Why? Because nobody goes there. So why would you want to use a tag that brings your business to page 4? Nobody's going to find you. So this website used their brand name, and the most important keywords are at the opposite end of where they should be. So let me just read it to you. That way we get through, because I'm looking at it and you guys are like, what's he talking about? So anyways, all right. So it's a website called Bar Chick. So the title tag is Bar Chick Bar Chat Pipe London's Best Burgers. It's so vague and lacks any description. It just does not want to cause anybody to click, let alone nobody's going to see it anyways because they're on page 4. So as you can see, title tags can make the difference for your business. They can either hurt you or they can help you. It's one of the key factors for search engine rankings and allowing the click-through for people to be able to click on that to come to your site. If you make it persuasive and entice people to click, they're going to want to come to your site. All right, let's talk a little bit about header tags. So one of the easiest ways to get you to understand these header tags, or an H tag for short, is to think about a newspaper. They're basically like headlines. So the most important headline on the page would be an H1. You knew what exactly the article was going to be about before you even got into it, because that headline was in big, huge letters telling you what it was about. Same thing comes down to a website. Your H1 tag is supposed to be the most important and relevant thing about your web page. You only want to have one of these on each page. You don't want to have multiples. And that frustrates the hell out of me, because I see so many designers put templates out there for people to use that don't know anything about web design or web development. They're an easy theme that they can buy for WordPress or whatnot. And they use the H tags more for styling abilities than what their SEO value is and what the purpose of them behind them were. So basically, they're tags numbered 1 through 6 that justify the order of, importance on the different sections. So if you go back to our newspaper analogy, you would see your main topic have that H1 tag. However, the next couple articles, the titles might have an H2, which is a little bit smaller font size than the H1, but is like the sub-articles, or, the different sections that are broken up, subtitles, if you will. And there may not be as important as that H1, but they're the next important thing. And then, if you have something a little bit smaller, you do the H3, and so on and so forth down through. Your least important title or section header would be an H6. So why do H tags or header tags get used? Well, you see, not only do the search engines scan your page, so do people. Most people on the internet don't read anything. They simply scan it. And using these H tags allow them to see the key bullet points, or the highlighted items of whether or not the article or web page or whatever you've got written there is going to pique their interest. So it's kind of a twofold approach, because you're doing it for visually for the person that can see it, who's scanning your page, as well as the search engine, whose bots or robots are also scanning your page looking for the most important stuff. So it's another key area that you want to make sure you have optimized on each web page. All right, now I want to change the topic here a little bit and talk about image tags, or not so much the image itself or the tag, the coding in itself, but one section of that image tag, and that's called alt, A-L-T, as in alternate. So search engines can't see your website. By that, I mean visually. They can see the code that makes up your website. So you may have these very beautiful pictures that represent either your product or your service, or tie into that to like get people to buy or sign up with you, whatever it is that your purpose is. The search engines can't see that. So what you want to do is use this alt tag to describe that photo. And it's an opportunity where you can describe it in a way that it brings the same value of why you put it there. Does that mean stuff keywords in there? Absolutely not. Do not stuff it full of nothing but keywords. You need to make this sentence really about what the picture's about and how it ties into your website. It needs to be relevant to the content that exists on your website. So while the search engines are getting better with, facial recognition and being able to scan some images, they're not utilizing that tool for your search engine rankings. So when it comes down to SEO, you want to make sure you use these alt tags. So we'll go back to using our pizza shop as an analogy. Say we have a picture of a pizza and the file's name was pizza. Then we might want to expand it a little, and we could write, the alt text to be something like 14-inch deep dish pepperoni pizza. See where I'm going with that? You're not keyword stuffing, but you're describing what's in the picture that is relevant to the content on your website. So this would give the search engines a little bit better clue about what the image is. And when somebody's searching for deep dish pepperoni pizza, your image might just come up. Wouldn't that be nice to get some relevant traffic? All right, so you ask, how do you use this alt tag? So without getting in depth on how to code and design a web page, I'm going to tell you that most of my listeners here are probably using a tool to manage their website like WordPress that would help you, easily add stuff. And WordPress has it built right in. When your images are in there and you're inside your media library, you have the option to set the alt tag. They'll have a little box in there that says ALT, and you simply type the text into that box. That's it. Pretty easy, but it's one of the most underutilized things that are out there. Why people don't utilize it, I don't know. It's there. It's another opportunity for you to boost your site up in the rankings. All right. Lastly, this week I want to talk about metadata and these meta tags that go into your website. So there used to be quite a few of them, and there still are some out there that don't get used because search engines don't really look at them anymore because people found ways to manipulate them to cause themselves to falsely rank higher in the search engines for things that really their website wasn't relevant about. And that's some of the changes you may have heard about. They're code named after, animals like penguin and panda. These were updates that were done by Google over the last few years that changed different things. But, people would keyword stuff them and put spammy stuff in there and everything else. But we're going to talk about a couple of the more relevant ones that you really need to use. And the first off is the meta description. Too many times I see websites don't put anything in there. This is an opportunity for you to sell yourself. Your meta description, just like the title, should be unique on every page. So where does this meta description show up? It shows up all over the place. It shows up in the search engine results page, right underneath that title, that description. It tells you what it's about, kind of that little summary. That's your meta description. You have full control over that. Don't let Google decide what your web page is about. You tell them. So some of the requirements that go into a meta description, first of all, like our title, it has a length limit. So ideally, you want to keep it between 135 to 160 characters. On some of the search engines, over 150 get cut off. But in general, if you stay 135 to 160, or if you want to be on the safe side, say 155, you'll be good. You want it to be relevant to the content on your website. You want to treat it as like an advertisement for your website. Why do people want to click on that link? Why should they care? Now you're thinking, hey, maybe I'll just, not make this readable, not make it legible, and just stuff it full of spammy keywords. No, don't do it. Remember what I said a few moments ago. Many of the search engines stopped utilizing some of these meta fields, including the meta description. Google will tell you, and if you do research, you'll find out. Google says they do not take in consideration the content that is in the meta description in calculation when they're calculating your ranking score or what scores you for a certain keyword. You're right, they don't. Why are we emphasizing on it? Because of this other factor. The click-through rate on your website, so when you appear in the search engines, the amount of times people are clicking your entry and staying on your web page. You'll find out a little bit later down the road as we get through our SEO series, a thing called bounce rate. How fast somebody's coming into your site and leaving because they're not finding you to be relevant based on what they were searching for. So having somebody click on that link in the search engine results, that is a rankable thing. The more people click, the better you rank. Plain and simple. So does that mean go and get millions of people to go click on your link? No. Again, quit trying to scam the system. Work it properly. Optimize your site. Optimize your content. So if we make a very compelling advertisement inside our meta description to make people want to click on that and go through and read the rest of that web page, that will boost your search engine rankings. Because now you're going to have the click-through rates going up. You're going to have them on your web page a little bit longer. You're relevant to the keyword. And that's what it all comes down to. Are you relevant? Are you trustworthy? Think back to when we first talked about how the search engines rank websites. If you missed it, go back. Listen to our other episodes. There's a lot of information here. I know. And oh my God, we're like going on forever. Your mind's melting. No worries. You can join us next week. We'll bring you part 3 of our site layout, design, and structure as we continue this series on search engine optimization. If you want feedback on your progress as you're tackling your own SEO, or you have a question about the topics that we've gone over, reach out to me either on Facebook or post a comment at changeyourpov.com/RBF009, where you'll also find a link to get a free website audit. We would like to thank Dr. Jones again for sponsoring our show. Don't miss out on his limited time offer to save 89% on the Life Coaching Certification Program. Visit changeyourpov.com/lifecoach and sign up today. Please take a few moments and help out by completing a survey on hearing loss in the veteran community by visiting veteranhearingstudy.com. And don't forget, subscribe to Change Your POV so you never miss a great episode. All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up this show and get out of here. Life is short. Don't just dream, do. We will see you next week on Remove Before Flight. Thank you for listening.